Hey all, this is Professor Steve from Grand Canyon University, and today's video I just wanted to do a little bit more cleanup and configuration on our Windows Server 2012 and Windows 10 virtual machines. At this point, the systems were a fresh install. We set the password, we set the computer name, and configured IP addresses, and those are based off the Server 2012 and Windows 10 videos that are available. So if you haven't watched those yet, you probably should do those first. But so now that we have a server and a workstation running on the same computer or same virtual machine platform, so these two virtual machines that I have here on the screen, those are on the same system. But I need to make sure that the two systems can talk together before we can do that. As I mentioned from the previous videos, we want to make sure that these systems are in host-only mode. That's what they call it on the Windows side, and on the Mac side, which is what I'm on now, under Network Adapter, I've said private to my Mac. Okay, so that basically means that the two virtual machines are only going to talk to each other as opposed to my Mac or any other device that's on my network or the internet. So these systems do not have internet access, which is kind of why you have the exclamation point down here over the network icon. So what we want to do is to test communications. So I've already got them kind of queued up here. So what I'm doing here is I'm pinging. So ping is a method of communication to test communication between two machines. So 0.15, that is the IP address of my workstation, and on the other system here, 0.10 is the IP address of my server. So if I enter that, I'm not getting any responses. Again, I'll start it on this one as well. So I get a lot of requests timed out, and that's pretty much it. It's basically saying, hey, I think this device is here, but it's not responding to ping, which is a common security practice / troubleshooting step. So I've already kind of got us to where we need to be, but just to recap, what we need to do is actually enable a rule in the firewall on each machine to respond to ping. To get to the firewall, if you're in server, you can go to Server Manager, go to Tools, and then there's Windows Firewall with Advanced Security. I already have that pulled up. And another way of getting there, you can right-click on your network icon, Network and Sharing Center, then down at the bottom click on Windows Firewall, and then Advanced Settings, and that's going to get you to the Windows Firewall with Advanced Security Settings. I already have that pulled up on the server here, and I went to it opens like this, and I go to Inbound Rules. Okay, now what I'm looking for specifically is Echo Request. So File and Printer Sharing, Echo Request ICMP. This basically means I want to allow ICMP traffic, or ping. Ping uses ICMP protocol to respond and do things like that with the ping. So all you gotta do is highlight it and hit Enable Rule. And if I come over here to my workstation, arrow up to type the command again and enter, you see I'm actually getting a response now. So the workstation is able to talk to the server. Now, even though I enabled it there, if I try to do it here, I'm still going to get a request timed out because I have not done the same thing on the workstation yet. So I'm going to flip back over, and I'm already there underneath the Windows Firewall for Advanced Security. This one, there's two entries. There's a domain and a private public, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to enable both of those right here. And all the other firewall rules are kind of outside of the scope of this class, but if I've enabled them, and now I come back over here, arrow up, and go. Now I'm getting a request reply from that IP address. So that basically covers how to confirm that your two systems can talk inside of a virtual environment. Now, still notice that these still have the exclamation point on the internet icon or the network icon saying basically there's no internet access, and again, that's perfectly fine. So now that that's done, what I want to do is to make sure that both systems have the VMware Tools installed. It's not really necessary, but I want to make sure that from a compatibility standpoint between the host and the virtual machine, that we're all good there. So to do that, if we go up to virtual machine and I can say install VMware Tools and hit install, and basically what it's doing is it's mounting an ISO like I used for the installation of the server and the Windows 10. In this particular instance, this is mounting the VMware Tools ISO. So I can click on this and say run setup. If you do the easy install of Server 2012 or Windows 10, it actually installs VMware Tools for you, but not really entirely necessary at this point. So we hit next, and we'll do complete, next, and install. And it's going to go through a very quick process here to get those pieces installed to make sure that the host and the VM are talking the same language and can utilize the resources of both systems. If you've noticed that my screen now went to really tiny, is because VMware Tools has installed a driver for the display to be able to do the right thing as far as display goes. So we're going to finish and hit yes on that one. I'm going to come over to workstation. I'm going to do the same thing, install VMware Tools and do an install, and it's going to mount that file like an ISO, and I should get a prompt here shortly, potentially. And if not, if you just open File Explorer and go to this PC, you'll notice that it's there. So I didn't necessarily get the same prompt that I would before, but it's available, so I can just double click that and hit yes, and went down there. So same thing. Minimize that to get everything out of the way. Comes up here, next, complete, next, and install. It's doing the same thing that the server operating system did. The Windows 10 is going to use different drivers than the Server 2012 one. Also, for the most part, they're doing the same thing. It's just a difference of some of the technology. And you'll see that our server is already up. The text is a little smaller than it was before, which is fine in my book. Seems like I get a little bit more, work done on the page. I'll minimize that one. This is doing the same thing. Should just be about finished, and then we do click on finish and yes to restart, and then those will come up here in just a moment. So in this video, we've made sure that the two systems can talk and communicate with each other. Again, have to turn on firewall rules for ICMP-N, whether on any of the profiles, domain public or private, and then we installed the VMware Tools, and we did ping tests between the two systems to verify that they can talk, which is very important. You don't want to be going into your labs or assignments with your systems not able to talk, because week 3 or 4 of ITT 121, you'll be asked to create some shares, have your workstation connect to those shares, and that just doesn't work out very well if it's not talking the right language. So that's what we did in the videos today. That's really all I have. I appreciate you taking a peek at the video here, and we'll see you next time.